folks, Brandon Johnson, that is the face of privilege. Black people, that's what you call privilege. Privilege that only cares about remaining in power, does not, like KJ said, does not give a damn about the people of Chicago, let alone black people. They don't care. He does not want to put police on the streets because he doesn't believe in police. He wants to defund police.
So the next half of this show, folks, we are putting our boots on the necks of Democrats, all right? We are Derek Chauvin every last one of them. So let's get into it.
Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer.
Wow. Folks, let me say this, and I'm particularly talking to Black Chicagoans. They don't care about you. Black lives do not matter. The man was literally asked at least 4 times. He would not answer because they don't want to cure crime. They don't want the crime to come down. They want chaos so you can be dependent on them.
Absolutely.
That was embarrassing. Shelley.
This, folks, Brandon Johnson, that is the face of privilege. Black people, that's what you call privilege. Privilege that only cares about remaining in power, does not, like KJ said, does not give a damn about the people of Chicago, let alone black people. They don't care. He does not want to put police on the streets because he doesn't believe in police. He wants to defund police. And you folks, Brandon Johnson, that is the face of privilege. Black people, that's what you call privilege. Privilege that only cares about remaining in power, does not, like KJ said, does not give a damn about the people of Chicago, let alone black people. They don't care. He does not want to put police on the streets because he doesn't believe in police. He wants to defund police. And you know who's going to get hurt the most? You, black people, primarily. You, your communities, your children, your relatives and loved ones. You're the ones who are going to be snuffed out, primarily by other black people, and the police are not going to be there. But guess what? Brandon Johnson and that damn peak in the middle of his head that I want to just walk on, literally, that damn peak in the middle of his head will have your taxpayer funds to protect him and his family in the Chicago, the mayor's mansion or whatever you want to call it there. He's going to have it everywhere he walks in Chicago, from the lake to the south side, the north. He's going to have your money while you are having funerals every damn week, and you have to contact your insurance and find all the death certificates. That's what's going to be happening, because the Brandon Johnsons of the world, even I'm going to say the Westmores, and to a degree the Brandon Scotts and the Newsoms and whomever else, they don't give a damn. All they want to do is stay in power at your dead family members' expenses.
Yeah. Nicole, why didn't he want to answer? Why didn't he want to answer?
He couldn't answer. You know, the Democrats had their summer meeting, and out of that summer meeting comes talking points about important questions like this. They had no answer. So he has no answer. He would have been better off, Shelley, you're right, by saying, listen, 5,000 more cops on the street makes Chicago safe. It makes black and brown communities safer, especially black and brown communities. But he couldn't say that because Democrats can't decide whether they're pro-crime or anti-Trump.
Exactly.
They are leaning so hard against the president that they're leaning against the American people. It is difficult to fathom that there's a whole political party in this country that is actually pro-crime. Wow. That actually wants crime and criminality. They don't want us safe. They don't want our children safe. They want our communities, 100 rapes a year, that's not really bad. 200 murders, we can get along with that. I mean, you're in the city.
It's coming down.
You should expect that, and it's a 30-year low, but there's still 500 people dead.
I know.
What the hell?
What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
They don't hear themselves talking.
No, it's lead in the water.
They don't.
It's lead in the water because y'all got to be lead poisoned to believe this man. You have to be. You have to be poisoned. You have some mental issue to believe this man. It literally doesn't make sense.
We were talking about exploitation. This is how politicians, the Brandon Johnsons of the world, exploit their demographics, their population. Because you know what? They exploit their trauma. They exploit their need, if you will. They exploit the fact that they want to be safe. People want to be safe. Of course you want your people to live and thrive. But they exploit all of those vulnerabilities only to their benefit, to keep themselves in power, and they get paid. They are getting paid with your money, and they are literally telling you that they're not going to protect you. You pay them to make you ass out.
Right. Not only do you pay them, it's not funny, but it's funny. Not only do you pay them to not protect you, but then they bankrupt the schools.
Exactly.
The children are getting dumber. The Democrat Party literally is creating modern day slaves who can't read, who have no protection. I mean, they are literally creating modern day slaves. And then all of a sudden they blame racism on everything.
Exactly.
That brings us to this.
Exactly.